Hey everyone! In this video, I'll be addressing the pro-abortion violinist argument developed by Judith Jarvis Thomson, an American philosopher. This argument was developed a few decades ago, but has been becoming more popular. By the way, this video doesn't apply to rape because I do understand that requires a more specific argument for itself. Imagine that you were kidnapped and you wake up strapped and attached to a world-famous violinist. The doctor comes in and tells you that you were the only person in the world that, if connected to the violinist, could save her life. The doctor then assures you that, don't worry, you're only going to be in this situation for 9 months. Now, this violinist is a person, has the same rights as you, and has the same value as you. But no one would say that you are obligated to endure the situation of keeping the violinist alive. The point is, someone can be equal in value to another person, but they do not have the right to that person's body. This concept applies to the embryo and the mother. The embryo is in fact a person, but it does not have the legal right to its mother's body for 9 months. I'm going to get right into this. So in the beginning of the violinist argument, the person is kidnapped and wakes up to being connected to the violinist against her will. This flat out doesn't apply to abortion because pregnancy is the result of consented sex. When you are pregnant, it's because you consented to sex with a man. I actually came across this analogy that I really like for this argument. Let's say a parent is playing baseball with her son, and the boy hits the ball with the bat and it smashes a neighbor's window. The neighbor comes out and demands that the parent to pay for the repair of the broken window. The parent can't justify herself by saying, hey, I didn't smash your window and I didn't intend for my kid to, so you can't charge me. This doesn't work because by virtue of playing baseball in an area where there is glass, there is an inherent risk in that of breaking a window. And by entering a game, one must be ready to face those risks and accept responsibility. This applies to having sex. Think it through. By participating in the action of sex, there is an inherent risk, intended or not, of the woman becoming pregnant. When one decides to engage in sex, one must also be ready to face the consequences of that action and accept responsibility. If you wanted to listen to me expand more on this, check out my previous video in the link above. The next point is that parents have a duty to their children that the person does not have to the violinist. Think it through. Let's say you are out in public and you see a child walk into the middle of the road unsupervised. The child then gets hit by a car. You, as a witness and a stranger to the child, are not held accountable for the accident because you are not responsible for the child. Now think of this scenario where you are a parent with your child and you leave your child in public and you go to the local boutique. Your child, being alone, wanders onto the road and gets hit by a car. You, as a parent, are held accountable for that accident because you are responsible for your child. Parents have a duty to their children that strangers don't have to each other. Thus, that fact discredits the violinist argument in the sense that the situation of pregnancy isn't between two strangers, but between a parent and her child. Now you might be thinking, well, the fetus is kind of a stranger to the mother. And this claim proves how important it is for a woman to see the ultrasound of her child, because women need to see their child in the womb, and women do have a connection or maternal sense once they see for themselves that their own child is growing in their womb. Another point is the expectations of responsibility the law has for parents. Let's say a woman has sex and gets pregnant, and then the father leaves her because he doesn't want to raise the child. The mother has the baby and then realizes, I can't provide for this child on my own, I need money. So she goes to the court and the father is then required to pay child support for the mother and her child. If we as a society expect the father to take on responsibility for his kid by paying child support, we need to expect the mother to take on responsibility for her kid as well by not aborting. Anyway, the next point I have is that the medical situation of the violinist is an unnatural, extraordinary case, while pregnancy is not. Now, those terms, unnatural and extraordinary, can be confused, so let me explain. The violinist case is unnatural because it's not in the course of nature to require someone else to be connected to you for 9 months so that you may live. That's extraordinary. However, pregnancy is natural in the sense that it is the only process of reproduction which brings forth a viable and independent human life. Sex in pregnancy is the way all people are created and develop. It's not extraordinary. This discredits the argument because how often do you find someone who needs to survive by being connected to another person? Never. It's a thought experiment that is inapplicable, while pregnancy is the normal way that nature uses to bring us all into existence. It applies to every single one of us. Okay, the specific situation of the violinist may be unrealistic. However, think of kidney donations. If a child has a failing kidney and she requires a new one, and her mother has a matching one, the mother isn't legally required to give her kidney to her child, nor should she be. However, the pro-life stance is claiming a mother should be legally obligated to sustain her child in the womb and not abort. Why should women be legally obligated to do one but not the other? My pro-choice stance makes a very fair point, and my two responses to that would be: 1, the purpose of the uterus is different than the purpose of the kidney. I went over this in my healthcare video, so check out the link above if you want to see that. But think it through. The purpose of the uterus is not for the mother, but only for another person. It's specifically designed for a baby. However, the kidney is not designed specifically for another person. A kidney can be donated to help a person in need of one, but the natural purpose of your kidney is not to be someone else's kidney, which is why it should not be a legal obligation to donate one. Secondly, there is a difference between actively killing a person and not providing a service to a person. I again go over this in my healthcare video, so I do encourage you to watch that. Abortion does actively kill the baby when you could give birth, while the violinist situation is a person who is just refusing to provide their service in keeping the violinist alive. They did not put the violinist in the life or death situation, and also they are not intervening to help. Now, would I say that's wrong? No, I wouldn't, because the person has no obligation to intervene in the survival of the violinist. Would it be a nice thing to do? Yeah, of course it would. Thanks for listening, guys, and if you have any other arguments or questions, go ahead and leave a comment below. Please check out my other videos, and if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like and subscribe to support my channel. Thanks.